It's really great to see distinguished members of Congress and staff and alumni and friends coming together for this annual event. We're really pleased to be able to maintain these connections between our DC alumni and friends and the university. As has been pointed out, the 2020 Congressional Breakfast was one of the last large events before the pandemic turned our nation upside down. I never thought I would grow to miss the Washington, DC Hyatt Regency. On behalf of U of M, you have my gratitude for your tireless dedication to your work as we confront the many challenges we must face as a nation. I'd like to thank, of course, the UM Club of Washington, DC for hosting this breakfast for 70 years and for their support of student scholarships. A Michigan education is affordable because of efforts like yours. Many people don't know that for in-state undergraduates, need-based financial aid results in about 27% who pay no tuition whatsoever. I'd like to recognize all of the alumni from our Dearborn and Flint campuses, as well as Ann Arbor, and all of the sponsors of our annual breakfast. Your support helps students from the Washington, DC area attend the University of Michigan. A special shout out to all the students here this morning, including those in our Michigan and Washington program. This year, students are studying virtually, and I thank those who sponsored a student as part of their registration for this event. And finally, I want to acknowledge two individuals who you've known very well over the years, Cynthia Wilbanks and Michael Waring. Both of them have retired from U of M after tremendous service to our university. I know Cynthia at least is watching right now. In that light, I'm pleased to welcome our new Vice President for Government Relations, Chris Kolb, is attending his first breakfast, I believe. He's here along with Christina Coe, the new Executive Director of our Office of Federal Relations, who many of you know well. Joining us very soon is our new Director of Federal Relations for Research, will be Neil Canfield, whose experience includes working in the Michigan delegation for Representative Huizenga, the National Science Foundation, and the White House Office of Science and Technology Policy. Welcome, new colleagues. As I mentioned earlier, a year ago, I was with you in person for what was one of my last trips before pausing travel for the pandemic. We've faced much together as a nation and as a university in the months since. Usually this time of year, my wife Monica and I have front row seats to view a campus that is bustling with activity. Our diag is normally teeming with students enjoying warmer weather, longer days, and the traditional rites of spring on a university campus. One of the most profound lessons of the COVID-19 pandemic is that we must never take the joys of life and the delivery of our mission for granted. So even from a campus that is mostly empty, we remain a University of Michigan that's been able to uphold our public mission. Our students are making progress towards their degrees, both remotely and in person. Our research labs are operating at nearly full capacity, and our health system continues to provide life-saving care for COVID-19 patients, has administered over 100,000 doses of COVID-19 vaccine, and stands ready to vaccinate many, many more of our patients, staff, and students. And we're all proud that this fall we'll revert to teaching most classes in person. Our residence halls will be at 80% capacity or more, and we'll have in-person dining and support services while continuing some safety precautions. We're confident we can do this because we've not seen COVID-19 transmission in our classrooms or research labs, and we're able to test students frequently. The fall plans presume access to vaccination for instructors and staff and significant numbers of our students as well. In partnership with the state and with Kroger and Meijer supermarkets, we're conducting vaccination clinics for thousands of U of M students to give them literally a shot in the arm before they head home for the summer. If the levels of vaccination exceed expectations, we'll further increase in-person activities. The pandemic has once again demonstrated the power of federally sponsored research at a top university. Michigan researchers logged $1.62 billion in research productivity during the past fiscal year, and 54% of that was supported by federal agencies. We remain the nation's top public university in research volume, and our year-over-year volume was steady despite having to shut down briefly because of the pandemic. We can all be proud that when our world needed knowledge, care, and understanding most, U of M rose to the challenge. Thanks to U of M research, we know what may cause severe illness in some COVID-19 patients. Our researchers discovered that an autoimmune antibody that's circulating in the blood can attack cells and trigger clots in arteries, veins, and microscopic vessels. In COVID-19, microscopic clots may restrict blood flow in the lungs, impairing oxygen exchange. The connection between autoantibodies and COVID-19 was unexpected. The team that made this discovery is partly funded by the National Institutes of Health and its intramural research program at the National Heart, Lung, and Blood Institute. A U of M research team led by engineering professor Ming-Yan Liu is using tools developed through a Department of Defense grant to examine how officials at different levels of government can work together to maximize COVID-safe behavior. The grant uses game theory to explore human behavior, and our researchers are taking it up a notch by examining the complex and overlapping factors that go into human decision-making. And in news you can use, research from U of M and the University of Illinois showed that some people's willingness to reduce the spread of COVID-19 seems to be connected to their feelings about scientists rather than their political partisanship. The research found that people who express warmth towards scientists were more concerned about the impact of the virus and reported engaging in more preventative behaviors. This relationship emerged even after controlling for their political views, U of M professor of psychology David Dunning said. Early last year, Michigan Medicine stood up a special unit to accept COVID-19 patients from all around Southeast Michigan, and we were setting up a field hospital before our collective efforts to flatten the curve took hold. Michigan Medicine is also caring for patients by administering the COVID-19 vaccine. This includes a massive clinic set up in Michigan Stadium and assisting with special clinics for K-12 educators and for those who live in zip codes that have fewer resources. I'm proud that U of M is helping our state get closer to the goal line of a vaccine for every Michigander who wants one. Federal investments in research universities go a long way. I mentioned a few examples, and there are many, many more. We support the Research Investment to Spark the Economy, or RISE Act, to keep the American research enterprise driving innovation to our society, jobs to our economy, and life-saving advances to our communities. The pandemic has taken a toll on many of our research projects, and the funds included in this bill will help us cover those gaps and complete the aims of those research projects. We also recognize the need for greater investments in public health infrastructure. Our nation's ability to respond to a pandemic was tested over the past year. U of M stands ready to help ensure the societal response is faster and more effective next time. As a final note, calling for greater investments in science and research provides a natural segue to my last comments. I want to add to the many voices who've expressed congratulations to my predecessor, President Emerita Mary Sue Coleman. I know many of you worked with her when she was U of M's president and during her tenure as president of the Association of American Universities. Last month, we named the building that houses our Life Sciences Institute Mary Sue Coleman Hall. It's the first academic building on the Ann Arbor campus to be named for a woman. To me, it's a reflection of all she's done to enhance the University of Michigan and heighten the impact of America's great research universities. Thanks to President Emerita Coleman, U of M has a faculty rich in intellectual diversity, a physical campus that's the envy of our peers, and numerous academic programs that are amongst the best in the world. She believes that knowledge should be universal and that U of M must be global to fully deliver our mission. She also focused intently on economic development, forming partnerships that continue to create jobs and transform the regional and state economies. I invite all of you to stop by when you're on campus next to see Mary Sue Coleman Hall. Our Life Sciences Institute is a beacon of hope for millions of people around the world, with a mission to advance the understanding of the fundamental processes of life and to pioneer new ideas to improve human health. It's one of many programs at U of M made truly excellent by federal investment in public research universities. I very much appreciate your dedication as members of the Michigan family. Thank you all very much, and of course, go Blue.